Good morning, dear children. All of you, welcome to this session. Here, we have already dealt with the price elasticity of supply and its various coefficients of price elasticities or various degrees of price elasticities. Next, we'll discuss about its diagrammatic representation of such coefficients. Here we can see the elastic supply. That is, price elasticity of supply is greater than 1. Price elasticity of supply is greater than 1. So I have explained that what is this elastic supply refers to? Yes, the percentage changes in the supply of a commodity is greater than the percentage changes in the price of certain commodities. Then only we can call such a good is said to be an elastic in supply. So here we can see the OY axis and in the OX axis. And what is represented in the OY axis? The prices are represented in the OY axis and the output are represented in the OX axis. And here we can see the P1, P2 are the various price levels of the commodities. And the Q1 and the Q2 are the various quantities supplied in the market. Various levels of quantities supplied in the market. And it is represented as Q1 and Q2. So here we can see the supply curve. What is that supply curve? Yes, 1. From the y-axis, from the OY axis, we can see the curve? S1. So that is actually, what is that? It's a supply curve. And I told you that there is a positive relationship between the supply and the prices. The curve is also a, upward sloping curve. And here we can see the changes happen to the prices as well as to the quantities. At first the price was OP1 and the quantity supplied is OQ1. But as a result of a changes in the or increases in the prices, the price levels has increased to P2. And here we can see when the price has increased to P2, the quantity levels also increased. But here we can see a wide gap between the Q1 and Q2. What it signifies? That is a slight changes in the prices from P1 to P2 causes a more than changes in the quantity supplied of certain commodities. That is actually refers to what? Elastic supply. I told you earlier, percentage changes in the quantity supplied is more than the percentage changes in the prices. So here we can see a wide gap between the Q1 and Q2, but there is only a small gap between the P1 and P2. So what it represents actually? Yes, elastic supply means the responsiveness of the quantity supplied is more than if we compare with the changes in the prices. So that is actually what is elastic supply refers to. And here we can see the D1 and D2. These are the different demand curves of the commodities. And the supply curve is S1. We know that there is an inverse relationship between the demand and the prices. And there is a positive relationship between the supply and the prices. Next, here we can see the inelastic supply. What is this? Inelastic supply. Here what we can see here. Before that, let me define what is inelastic supply. It refers to what? Yes, the percentage changes in the quantity supplied is less than the percentage changes in the prices. It is actually referred to as inelastic supply. So here we can see in the OY axis the prices are represented, and in the OX axis the output is represented. And the various price levels are given in the OY axis, and we can see as P1 and P2. And in the OX axis different levels of quantities are given. Which are they? O, Q1 and Q2. Here O is not given, even the origin O it is there. So Q1 and Q2. So these are the different price levels and these are the different quantity levels of the certain commodities. So here P1 and P2 and Q1 and Q2, these are the different quantity levels of the commodities. So these are the various price levels and the quantity supplied in a market. Here also, what is the difference between the elastic and the inelastic supply? Here we can see the gap between the prices, wide gap between the prices, but a small gap between the quantity of the commodities supplied in the market. So what it represents? The percentage changes in the quantity supplied is less than the percentage changes in the prices of certain commodities. Children, once again I'll explain how it is become inelastic means the percentage changes in the quantity supplied is less than the percentage changes in the prices, and it is clearly depicted in this graph, and we can see the changes happen to the prices and the quantities, and here only a small gap between the Q1 and Q2 and little wide gap between the P1 and P2. So it signifies the changes in the prices and the quantity levels of supply in the market. So this is actually what is elastic supply and what is inelastic supply. And I have already explained about the different coefficients of supply. Elasticity is less than ES less than 1, ES greater than 1, and ES equals to 1. Isn't it? Yes. So these are the various coefficients, and I will explain the rest of the coefficients in my next module. So I hope this explanation for this session is clear for you. So thank you children for watching this video.